Hi, I'm Richard Randall, and welcome to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker, the owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. This is the weekly radio show that informs and educates you on how to buy or sell real estate with Colorado's Real Estate Authority. Barb Schlinker. Barb Schlinker is a retired Navy veteran. Barb is an author. Barb is also a pilot, and Barb and her team enjoy all that Colorado and the Front Range have to offer. Barb, always great to be talking with you. Now, we air Your Real Estate Voice every Saturday. If you can't listen to the entire show, it is always available on Barb's site, barbhasthebuyers.com, or go ahead and search the podcast platforms like iHeartRadio as well as others. Barb, what's in store for today's show?
Well, Richard, good morning. I'm pretty excited about today's show because we've got some interesting topics we're going to cover today. The first one is, will Colorado housing prices get cheaper in 2025? And I'm looking at statistics in the market and different neighborhoods throughout the week, every single week. And I think the big surprise to me is that we're not seeing a big surge in prices, but we're also not seeing a big drop in prices. So, the interest rates are staying steady. I think if you're a buyer right now, if you see the home that you got to have, get it, because the future is indicating that the rates are going to come down. And when that happens, this market's going to heat up like crazy. That's what you can take away from that segment. The next one is going to talk about sales that fall through. I don't think most sellers really expect a deal to fall through. However, the system is almost designed for it to happen a certain percentage. The buyer has all these opportunities to bail out of a contract. And we're going to go into detail about what those opportunities are and how a home seller can actually be prepared so that if it happens, they're ready to pivot to the next buyer. Not to worry, we're just going to get another one. The third thing we're going to talk about is, do you really need a real estate agent when you go buy a brand new home? Recently, I took over a property that was taken back in foreclosure. It's only 3.5 years old, and it has massive structural cracks. Now, I don't know what happened in the past, but that should not be happening because the state requires that these buildings be under warranty. But I have a feeling that that homeowner was undereducated, even though he signed the documents. They shove you hundreds of documents to sign when you're buying a house and don't go into a lot of detail about them. But it just was really frustrating to me that he didn't get the help that he needed and had to let the house go, which adversely affects his credit. So we're going to talk about what are the reasons why you need a real estate agent to help you when you buy a new home. And as always, we're going to talk about pricing. Pricing is absolutely critical. I believe the buying population is more educated about where a home should be priced than some real estate agents are. That's because they are actively looking in their area, in their price range, and they can see a good deal when it hits the market. So we're going to talk about how do you calculate a selling price for a house in Colorado. And as always, I love talking about my hot new listings. Richard?
Now, Barb, in this market, the interest rates are staying about the same. And even though it's prime selling season, not all homes are selling. What do you think about housing prices? Are they going to get cheaper in 2025?
Well, I can tell you that typically it looks a little bit like a bell curve as you go through the year in Colorado. Our prime selling season often becomes spring through summer and it drops off in the fall. However, homes do sell year round and buyers know a good deal year round when it happens. So the question is, are the home prices going down or up? Well, if you look at the statistical data, and I don't just look at the monthly data in the MLS because I feel like it falls short in really giving us an idea on where the trends are in the market. But I use an alternative source that I pay for that's really excellent. That gives me updates every single weekday about what's trending in those areas. Another factor of this that really is a key point is interest rates. So if the interest rates drop, I predict right now, if the interest rates drop down to with a 5 in front of it, this market all along the Front Range is going to catch on fire. So if I was a buyer, I would not wait. If you see a house you've got to have, I would go ahead and buy it because it's relatively easy and sometimes very inexpensive to either buy the interest rate down or refinance the loan. I know the government loans you can refinance for rate and term, basically at almost no cost, no appraisal, not even a credit check. So I would definitely recommend that if you see the right home right now in this market, do not wait. You can make some adjustments about the payment issue. The rates have been fluctuating now for about 2 months between 6.5 and 7, sometimes a little over 7, up and down every day, every hour of the weekday. And generally the government loans, FHA and VA, are about 0.5% less than conventional. Conventional is just under 7 right now, and VA, FHA are just under 6.2. So looking at the stats and the interest in general, it's going to move around all the time. All you need to do is just go ahead and get in the game, and then you're in a position where you can make that adjustment. So just to look at what the general areas are doing along the Front Range, like El Paso County is amazing. The median list price has been going up. Now it's up to 569. The number of available homes is well over 2,000. That's still light on the inventory. Fewer sellers are reducing their price right now, and the average days on market is dropping. Those are all good indications of a stronger seller's market than a buyer's market, but it's all about that house, that price, that home's condition, and we can help you get there. Douglas County has been relatively flat in the last week, but all those numbers kind of are playing out the same. Fewer people are reducing their price, inventory is climbing, that part of it's seasonal, and it's showing a slight seller advantage. Same thing in Teller County. Places like Aurora is showing pretty much the same statistics. Castle Pines is showing a strong seller's market. Just so you know, the median list price in Castle Pines is over $1 million. And I find that interesting. A lot of the more what we consider high-end or affluent homes, those homes are actually selling a little bit more robustly than the lower price point, because I think a lot of those buyers are less influenced by tiny interest rate fluctuations. Highlands Ranch, little bit of fluctuation in the past 2 months, but it's still a strong seller's market. And we're seeing a seller's advantage in Littleton. Littleton, surprising to me, the median price is over $800,000. We just sold a fixer-upper in Littleton recently, and I was surprised. The after repair value of this older home that was kind of in rough condition was over $500,000. The only areas where we're seeing a little bit of weakness are Pueblo at this time, but I think in the summer that's definitely going to pick up. So in my view, the biggest mistake that buyers can make right now, if they're thinking of buying a home and they can't afford it, is to sit around and wait for the rates to drop or the prices to drop. I don't anticipate it's going to happen all along in the Front Range very much. You might see a few percentage points here and there. But if you look at areas like Florida, I just came back from a conference last week talking to agents in Florida, and they're really struggling. I mean, those prices are dropping by a good, I would say, 15, 20%. We are not seeing that here. Colorado definitely is holding its value. So if you're planning to live in a home for the next 3 to 5 years, I definitely would consider buying instead of renting at this time. And all you have to do really, if you're planning to sell a home, is plan a simple strategy to get the home sold in this market. It's not that difficult. We're going to talk about some of the keys to actually be the best home on the block, to get offers right out of the gate and not wait that 75 or 80 days to get your home sold. And that way, you can be considered the best deal on the market and you'll attract the right buyers. Just last weekend, Richard, we had an open house. We had 35 people attend the day before Easter. And we went on to process 3 different offers until they found the right offer, and it went under contract over asking price. That is still possible in this market if you hire somebody that knows what they're doing. Number one is hire somebody that knows how to market and present the home so it looks attractive. And number two is to make sure it's priced realistically, not optimistically. So if you are thinking of making a move, give us a call, 719-301-3900, or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
We're here talking with Barb Schlinker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, and you can always reach Barb at 719-301-3900. Now, Barb, we're talking about how to sell your home for the most money. What are some things that increase a home's value?
Well, condition is the number one thing, Richard. Most buyers want a move-in ready home, and those typically will sell for a premium. However, there are homes that will sell for a premium that are not move-in ready, and that's all about the correct pricing strategy. According to the National Association of Realtors, the average buyer, about 40% of them, will not go for a home that needs work. However, if it's priced right and it's in the neighborhood that they want to be in, they might just do it. So the things that you can control are take care of easy deferred maintenance, because buyers will not consider a home if it needs obvious routine maintenance. Things like, the carpet's really bad and worn, furnace, water heater, all those kind of things. And it's very important that you make sure the photos of the home are presented very well. Pricing is a key thing, and I really feel like the buyers know more about pricing than real estate agents do, and that's what makes them show up. If they see a good deal that's presented online first, they are going to come. So pricing will either repel buyers or it will attract buyers. I'm not saying underprice a home. I'm just saying price it to attract the most amount of buyers in that price range, and we can help you do that. So if you are thinking of making a move, give us a call, 719-301-3900, or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
You're listening to Barb Schlinker with Your Real Estate Voice. Barb's the host of the program, also the owner, proprietor of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. And you can always reach Barb at 719-301-3900. We'll take a short break. When we come back, we're going to be discussing, can a house sale that is pending actually fall through and what to do to avoid that happening? Stay tuned for Barb Schlinker.